Welcome to the JJ's Declutter podcast, where we tackle the mess and stress to make space for what truly matters. I'm Janis, here with Julie, and together we're sharing our best tips, tricks, and a little humor to help you declutter your home, mind, and life. Whether it's procrastination or piles of stuff, we're here to help you make real progress. Let's dive in.
Hello. Welcome back to the JJ's Declutter podcast. I'm Julie.
And I'm Janis. And today we're doing something a little different as we wrap up the year. Instead of focusing on what went wrong or counting down the days until it's over, we're talking about looking back at your triumphs, big and small.
Because here's what happens in December. People start posting on social media about how glad they are the year is ending, that it's Julie's birthday month and we need to send her presents, how terrible everything else was this year, and how next year has to be better. And look, we get it. You don't have to send me a present. Some years are genuinely hard. Some years throw curveballs we never saw coming. But even in the hardest years, which this has been a very hard one, there are wins. There are moments of growth and small victories, things we accomplished that we're not giving ourselves credit for. And today, we want to help you find those wins and celebrate them.
This isn't about toxic positivity or pretending hard things didn't happen. It's about balance. It's about acknowledging that yes, maybe some things were difficult, but also recognizing what you did accomplish, what you did survive, and what you did learn. Because when you end the year focusing only on what went wrong, you carry that energy over to the new year. But when you end the year by celebrating your wins, even the tiny ones, you build momentum and confidence that carries forward.
So grab a cup of something cozy, maybe a journal if you want to write things down, and let's take a trip through the year. Not to judge it or grade it, but to appreciate it. Let's find your wins. So before we dive into the how-tos, let's talk about why this reflection matters. Our brains have something called negativity bias. We're literally wired to remember and focus on negative experiences more than positive ones. It's a survival mechanism from way back when remembering where the dangerous predator was could save your life. But in modern life, this bias means we naturally focus on what went wrong, what we didn't accomplish, and where we fell short. We have to actively, intentionally look for the wins because they don't automatically get the same mental priority.
And here's what happens when you don't do this reflection work. You end the year feeling defeated, like you didn't accomplish anything, like you're starting from zero again on January 1st. But that's not true. You did things this year. You survived challenges. You showed up. You grew. Maybe not in ways you expected or planned, but growth still happened. When you take time to recognize and celebrate that, you're not just being nice to yourself, you're literally rewiring your brain to notice and appreciate progress. That skill carries forward next year, and it makes everything feel more possible. So you're giving yourself a growth mindset rather than a fixed mindset.
Plus, acknowledging your wins, especially your small wins, gives you data about what's working in your life. When you look back and see patterns of success, even small ones, you can do more of those things. You can build on what's working instead of constantly trying to fix what's broken. This isn't about ignoring problems or challenges. It's about not letting them be the only story you tell about your year.
So let's talk about a year in the review framework. So we're going to break this into categories. And category 1 is home and space wins. Because it's near and dear to our hearts, your home and physical spaces are important to you. So think back through the year. Did you declutter any areas? Maybe you finally tackled that junk drawer or cleared out your closet, or you donated bags of stuff you weren't using. Those count. Did you deep clean any spaces? Did you organize a specific area? Even if the rest of your house is still cluttered, that one area you dealt with is a win. Write it down, celebrate it.
Absolutely celebrate it. Dance of joy. Maybe you didn't do a big decluttering project, but you maintained spaces better than previous years. Maybe you started doing the 5-minute evening kitchen wrap up we talk about, and your mornings are calmer as a result. Maybe you got better at dealing with mail immediately instead of letting it pile up. These small habit changes are huge wins. Even though they don't feel dramatic, they are. Or maybe you made your bed more consistently this year, or you kept your car cleaner, or you finally got that thing fixed that's been broken for ages.
Here's something people don't think to celebrate. Sometimes the win is not accumulating more clutter. If you resisted impulse buys this year, then you should be celebrating it. Maybe you stopped bringing home every free thing offered to you. Maybe you started thinking before accepting hand me downs. Those are wins. Preventing clutter is just as important as removing clutter. And if
Mhm.
you're sitting here thinking, but my house is still messy, stop right there. We're not comparing to some imaginary perfect standard. We're looking at what improved, even by 1% from where you were.
Just 1%. Also, think about what you learned about yourself and your space this year. Maybe you figured out why certain areas keep getting cluttered. Maybe you identified your clutter triggers. Maybe you realized you're an emotional accumulator and that awareness alone is a win because now you can work with it. Knowledge is progress. Understanding is a triumph. Give yourself credit for the insights that you gained, even if you haven't fully solved everything yet. So let's go on to category 2, personal growth and habits. This is where we often shortchange ourselves the most. Think about habits you built this year and even small ones. Did you start drinking more water, taking vitamins more consistently, getting to bed earlier? These aren't flashy transformations, but they're you taking care of yourself. That matters. Did you start any practices like journaling, meditation, movement, prayer? Even if you weren't perfect at them, the fact that you started something is worth celebrating.
Also, think about boundaries you set this year. Did you say no to something you would have forced yourself to do in the past? Did you speak up for yourself? Did you reduce time with people or situations that drain you? Boundaries are some of the hardest wins to recognize because they often feel like you're being mean or letting people down. But healthy boundaries are actually one of the biggest indicators of growth and self respect. Even if you set one boundary this year, that's a triumph.
Absolutely. So, what about learning? Did you learn any new skills, even small ones? Maybe you figured out a feature on your phone you've been confused by. Maybe you learned to cook a new recipe. Maybe you took a class or watched tutorial videos on something you were curious about. Learning keeps your brain healthy and engaged, and every bit of new knowledge or skill is worth acknowledging. And this applies to emotional learning too. Did you learn something about yourself this year? About your triggers, your needs, your values, your patterns? That's profound growth.
And a big one that people often overlooked is, what did you survive this year? And I mean that in the most compassionate way possible. Some years, survival itself is the triumph. If you went through grief, illness, job loss, relationship challenges, financial stress, or any other major difficulty, and you're still here, still functioning, that's not just surviving, that's resilience, that's strength. That's a win that deserves to be honored. You carried yourself through hard times. You got up day after day, even when it was difficult. And that counts. That matters. So give yourself grace and give yourself recognition.
Absolutely. Let's talk about category 3, relationships and connection. This category can be tricky because sometimes wins in relationships look like endings, not beginnings. Did you nurture any relationships this year? Maybe you made time for friends you care about. Maybe you had meaningful conversations with family members. Maybe you were there for someone going through a hard time. Being a good friend, family member, or partner takes effort and intention, and those moments of connection are worth celebrating.
But also, did you end or change any relationships that weren't serving you? Sometimes the win is recognizing that a friendship has run its course, or that a family relationships need different boundaries, or that a romantic relationship isn't healthy. Walking away from or adjusting relationships that drain you or harm you is brave, even though it's painful. If you made hard relationship decisions this year, that's a triumph in choosing yourself and your well being.
Did you ask for help this year? This might seem like a weird thing to celebrate, but asking for help when you need it is a huge sign of emotional maturity and self awareness. If you reached out to a friend, a therapist, a support group, a coach, or anyone else when you were struggling, that's a win. You recognized you couldn't do it alone and you had the courage to ask for support. That's strength, not weakness.
And think about connection in general. Did you make any new friends this year? Did you join any communities, online or in person? Did you engage more in our Facebook group or other supportive spaces? Did you feel less alone in your struggles because you found your people? Those connections matter. Building community and finding your tribe, even in small ways, is something to celebrate.
It truly is. Category 4, let's look at work and money. So we're going to find some professional and financial wins here. Two areas where we're often really hard on ourselves. Did you keep your job through a challenging year? That's a win. Did you learn new skills at work? Get positive feedback? Complete difficult projects? Handle workspace or workplace challenges with grace? These all count. And if you lost a job or changed jobs, the win might be in how you handled that transition, what you learned about yourself, or the courage it took to make a change.
For those of us who work from home or run businesses, the wins might look different. Did you show up consistently? Did you serve your clients or customers well? Did you learn something about running your business? Did you invest in yourself through courses, coaching, or resources? Every step forward in building or maintaining your work, whatever it looks like, deserves recognition.
On the financial side, this isn't about how much money you made, it's about your relationship with money and the small steps you took. Did you start tracking your spending? Did you pay off any debt, even if it was just a little? Did you build any savings, even if it's not as much as you wanted? Did you resist impulse purchases more often? Did you have hard conversations about money with your partner or family? Financial progress comes in all sizes, and every bit of it matters.
And here's one we don't talk about enough. Did you survive financially through difficult circumstances? If you kept food on the table, kept a roof over your head, and kept the lights on through job loss, unexpected expenses, or reduced income, that's not just getting by. That's resourcefulness. That's resilience. That's creative problem solving. Give yourself credit for the financial challenges you navigated, even if you're not where you want to be yet.
Absolutely. Category 5 is health and well being. Health is such a complex category because there's physical health, mental health, emotional health, and sometimes wins in one area come at the cost of another. And that's okay. Did you take care of your physical health in any way this year? Maybe you went to doctor appointments you'd been putting off. Maybe you started moving your body more, even just taking short walks. Maybe you improved your sleep slightly. Maybe you drank less alcohol or quit smoking. Any step toward taking care of your body is a win.
Mental health wins are just as important. Did you start therapy or counseling? Did you find medication that helps? Did you develop coping strategies for anxiety or depression? Did you recognize when you needed support and actually reach out for it? Did you reduce your exposure to news and social media that was affecting your mental health? I did. These are all wins. Taking care of your mental health in a world that's not always supportive of that is brave and important.
And sometimes the win is simply awareness. Maybe this year you learned what triggers your stress or anxiety. Maybe you learned what helps you regulate your emotions. Maybe you learned to recognize when you're heading toward burnout and need to pull back. That self awareness is the foundation for making changes. So even if you don't feel like you've fixed everything, the understanding itself is progress worth celebrating.
So, how to celebrate your wins? You've been reflecting on your year and hopefully identifying more wins. Now what? How do you actually celebrate them in some way that feels meaningful? First, write them down. There's something powerful about putting your wins on paper or typing them out. They become more real, more solid. You can look back at them when you're having a hard day and remind yourself of what you've accomplished.
Share them with someone who will genuinely celebrate with you. This could be your partner, a friend, a family member, or even our Facebook community or our online community. Sometimes we downplay our wins because we think they're not that big of a deal. But when you share them and someone else reflects back, this is a big deal. Good for you. It helps you actually receive the win instead of minimizing it. We're conditioned to be humble and not brag, but there's a difference between arrogant bragging and healthy celebration of a genuine accomplishment.
Create a visual representation of your wins if that appeals to you. Some people make a list and put it somewhere visible. Some people create a photo collage of moments from the year. Some people keep a jar where they put notes about wins throughout the year and then read them all at the year's end. Find a method that feels meaningful to you. The goal is to make your wins visible and undeniable, not just abstract concepts you kind of remember.
And here's something we love: do a wins of the week practice moving forward. Every Friday or Sunday, write down 3 wins from that week, no matter how small. I decluttered one drawer. I meal planned for the first time in months. I asked for help when I needed it. When you practice noticing wins weekly, by the end of next year, you'll have a whole collection of them and you won't have to work so hard to remember. You'll have been celebrating all along. All right, let's wrap this up. As we close out this year, we want you to give yourself permission to be proud of what you accomplished, survived, learned, and experienced. Not every year is going to be your best year ever, and that's okay. Some years are about survival. Some years are about small, steady progress. Some years are about learning hard lessons. All of those have value. All of those contain wins worth celebrating.
So, if you're sitting here thinking, but I really didn't accomplish much this year, we challenge you to look again. Did you keep yourself alive, fed, clothed, sheltered? Did you show up for the people you love? Did you do your job, whatever that job is? Did you learn anything at all about yourself or the world? Then you accomplished something. You matter. Your efforts matter. The fact that you're here listening to this podcast means you care about growth and improvement, and that caring itself is something to celebrate.
So before this year ends, take some time, even just 12 minutes, to write down your wins. Share them with us in our Facebook community, ABC Declutter with JJ-community. And you can also share them with our online community, Declutter with the JJs, at www.abcdeclutter.com. We would love to celebrate with you. Post your wins, big and small, and let's cheer each other on as we close out this year and step into the next one with gratitude and momentum instead of frustration and defeat.
And remember, you don't have to wait until December 31st to do this. You can reflect and celebrate wins monthly, weekly, even daily. The more you practice noticing and celebrating progress, the more progress you'll see. It's not magic, it's just training your brain to look for the good alongside the hard.
Thank you for being a part of our community this year. Thank you for listening, for engaging, for sharing your journeys with us. You've made this year meaningful for us, and we're so grateful. Here's to ending the year with gratitude and stepping into the new year with confidence.
Until next time, keep it simple.
Keep it intentional.
And as always, keep
decluttering. We swear by next year, we'll be celebrating how good we are at reading this together at the same time. So it sounds like one person. Oh, this has been the JJ's Declutter podcast. Here's just celebrating your wins. Thanks for joining us on the JJ's Declutter podcast. If you're ready to keep simplifying, follow us for more tips and join our Facebook community to share your wins and challenges. Subscribe here because it's always more fun to declutter with friends. And thanks in advance for leaving us a review.